This movie is case in point of why titles are very important. By simply adding the word "the" to this film's title, you bring to mind a very different movie. So bear in mind, in the future, whenever you talk about this movie, it's called Room, not The Room. The literally changes everything. Room. In my opinion, it's very good. The story follows Ma and her son Jack. They're both being held captive in a single 10-foot by 10-foot room, which they call Room. Ma has made it her goal to give Jack as happy a life as she can, but eventually enough is enough. A plan is devised to fool their captor so they can escape. After they do, they reunite with Ma's parents, and the adjustment period begins. Believe it or not, up until I saw this, I did not know the story is based on a novel. I haven't read it yet, but I did go online to read the summary, and while I'm sure there's, minor tweaks here and there, I saw that the general structure is basically the same. Having seen the film, what I surmised is, at the heart of it all is the story of the after effects of a person who's been kidnapped and closed off from the outside world. And within that are two stories. There's Ma's re-entry into the outside world and Jack's introduction to the outside world. And emotionally, those are polar opposite mindsets because Ma knows what the outside world is like, but Jack has no idea. And what I liked about this film is how it tackled that reaction, because when you think about it, Jack is pretty much at the age of someone who is able to really see the world. And one of the most amazing moments in this movie is when he sees the sky for the very first time. I mean, think about it. All he's seen for the first 5 years of his life is the ceiling of Room, and now, finally, for the first time, he's seeing the big, wide open, and seemingly endless sky. It blows his mind, and seeing his reaction blew my mind as well. I have never seen anyone look at the sky like he does in that scene, and as silly as it may sound, seeing his reaction in the movie, like watching that scene, has made me now look at the sky differently. It's one of those things that you look at on occasion just to basically check the weather, but how often do you really look at the sky and marvel at it? Because when you really look at it, it's pretty amazing. My favorite scene, which is very emotional, is when Ma and Jack are reunited after Jack has led the cops to where Ma is. She gets set free and is sprinting towards the cop car, but the door is locked. She's banging at the door to try and get to Jack, and in that moment there's this insane level of urgency that really, for me, hit hard. And it's thanks to all the elements of filmmaking that really make that scene work. Jumping off that, one of the more crucial elements that really struck me was the casting. None of the roles in this film are easy to cast, and especially with Ma and Jack, finding the right people is life and death. The filmmakers truly lucked out with Bry Larson and Jacob Tremblay. Their dynamic is everything in this movie, and without that working, this movie just would not work. But I am so happy it does, because while the story is upsetting, it's relevant. I was also happy to see William H. Macy playing the dad. I think both he and Joan Allen really nailed the emotional weight and frustration that comes with being reunited with their daughter, who they used to know, but because of her kidnap and subsequent rape, no longer know. My notes for improvement basically all fall under choices for story and character. Let's go through one by one. First, there's the point in the story when Ma and Jack begin their integration into the outside world. It's curious to me how we never see any news clippings or reports that relate to any of the events that happened during and after her kidnapping. Because to me, that kind of detail can really help sell the story and make the event more of a physical thing and less of a subconscious thought. A second concerns William H. Macy's character. He is the father of Ma, and when she comes back with Jack, he has a really hard time being okay with Jack. but his problem is only really addressed in one scene, and given all the emotion surrounding that, they could have attacked that situation and created really exceptional drama, but they didn't, and I felt as a result a loss there. The third and final one is the end of the film. Now the very end is right for the story, but I really wanted a scene just before that scene that touched on a detail that harkens back to the beginning of the film with Jack's birthday, and if that detail had been shown, it would have been so perfect. Maybe a bit obvious, but so perfect. I wanted it so badly, but they didn't give it to me. Sometimes, man. With all that to digest, Room is a difficult and emotional film to get through, but it's also unique and one you're likely not to forget about very soon after you watch it. And that's ideal. I give Room 3.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Have an awesome day.